You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a Monday afternoon wellness check turns into a homicide investigation and second-degree murder charges for a Pittsburgh man.
And something rotten in Fort Scott as the city finds itself dealing with a smelly situation.
Plus, we're dealing with some rainfall and some scattered thunderstorms this morning. We've got a little bit more on the way. We're going to talk all about that coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Authorities arrest a man connected to a Monday afternoon homicide. Just after midnight, Pittsburgh Police Department responded to a call requesting officers to do a wellness check of a female subject residing at 1309 Cedar Crest Drive. Upon arriving at the residence, officers secured the scene, had to forcefully enter the home where they found the body of 54-year-old Michelle Lynn Fontenot. Information developed early in the investigation that led to the victim's husband, 60-year-old Timothy Fontenot, as the subject in the death of Michelle. He has been charged with second-degree murder, 4 counts of aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer, and 1 count of felony interference with law enforcement. Southeast Kansas man fights for his life after an attempted murder and robbery. On Monday, Fort Scott police released information pertaining to a crime that happened back on September 24th. Authorities responded to the 400 block of Andrick in Fort Scott, where they found 39-year-old Kenneth Bevins lying in the grass with multiple injuries. Police have now arrested 4 people in connection to the crime. 2 are juveniles and 2 are adults. Formal charges have been filed against one of the adults, 20-year-old Tavin Eisenbrandt. Court documents allege he robbed Bevins, taking his knife and stabbing him with it. Bevins remains in critical condition. A broken water main causes flooding to a section of a Joplin street. The break occurred on South Connecticut near 29th Street just before 9:30 last night. As you can see, the force of the water actually lifted a large piece of asphalt from the road. Residents in the area say crews had been working earlier to repair a smaller leak. City of Joplin Public Works arrived on scene to work on repairing the break. Make sure to head over to KOAMnewsnow.com for updates on the progress as it becomes available. There's been a smelly situation going on in Fort Scott, Kansas. KOAM's Carrie Worthen talked with the city about how they're fixing this problem.
Citizens of Fort Scott, Kansas have been complaining of a sewer smell in town. Assistant City Manager Brad Matkins says the colder the temperature, the more you could smell the lagoon from the wastewater plant. They say they have been actively treating the smell to mitigate the issue.
We're chemically treating it by putting a chemical in there twice a week, heavy doses, plus we are putting a drip of this chemical. That has eliminated some of the smell.
Archer Daniels Midland Company is also putting their waste in lagoons, but is not the cause of the excess sludge problem.
What's causing this is low maintenance and the lack of rain. We need to do a better job of getting a plan on how to maintain our lagoons, and that's what we are doing with this first step.
Matkins did say that this will not cost the citizens anything extra, and this process hopefully will start at the beginning of November.
The money is actually in our wastewater fund, which comes from various items. It comes off of our bills for our utility bills, but it also comes from ADM. For every time they dump their waste into our lagoons, we get paid for that, which is good for us, which in turn is good for our citizens. We can do these upkeeps without raising the rates.
Matkins says the cost for dredging is around $1 million and the contractor is confident in his work. In Fort Scott, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
City is working hard on getting the problem fixed. Well, on this date, back in 1971, John Lennon releases the single Imagine, one of the most influential songs of the 20th century. The song's idealistic, utopian lyrics were heavily influenced by Lennon's wife, conceptual artist Yoko Ono, who officially received a writing credit in 2017. Now, the song and its eponymous album were a massive success, ultimately the most commercially and critically successful of Lennon's solo catalog. Since 2006, it has been played immediately before the dropping of the Times Square ball on New Year's Eve in New York City, and it was included in the closing ceremonies the 2012 London Olympics, as well as the opening ceremonies of the 2018 Olympics in Pyongyang. The word imagine is the only text to appear on the Strawberry Fields Memorial to Lenin in Central Park.
Interesting piece of history there. I've got a little more interesting history for you in terms of this day in weather history. And on this day, back in 2002, 45 vehicles crashed on I-43 near Cedar Grove in Wisconsin. The accident was caused by speed and fog. 38 people were hospitalized. No fog out there, but we are dealing with rain making the roads slick. We've got showers and scattered thunderstorms across the area, and we'll see more later today as we watch for additional development out of northeast Oklahoma. You can see some of it already taking place around the Oklahoma City area. And we do have a very low-end threat for some strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. It's a very low risk if we see any. Hail and wind are the primary threats, but again, just want to emphasize that threat is very low. We're not going to get a ton of rain out of the next couple of days with this system, but as you can see, some of us could pick up anywhere from a ½ inch up to an 1.5 inches in rain. So we are getting some liquid from the sky, and that's certainly beneficial. Right now in Joplin, it has stopped raining for the moment. Cloudy skies, 64, south breeze at 8, and it's going to be gusty later. We got 63 for Fredonia, 65 Chanute, 63 Pittsburgh, 66 Neosho, and 69 in Anderson as we start the day. MoDOT camera switched to day mode now, looking live east on I-44 from Rangeline. Traffic is flowing, roads are wet. We have a yellow light for your morning commute with some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms, temperatures in the 60s. Yellow light continues for your drive home. Even though the rain starts to taper off early, could still leave some slick spots out there as you are driving. As we go through the rest of the day, temperatures will fluctuate, but we will reach a high of 74. Showers and thunderstorms kind of start to break up this evening, and then we see additional shower and thunderstorm chances tonight with a cold front coming in from the northwest. And again, fluctuating temperatures, but we'll drop back down to a low of 60 degrees. So 7-day forecast. We get up to 77 tomorrow because the rain will taper off about half. Excuse me, I have had something in my throat all morning. About halfway through the day, so we'll reach 77. We warm up heading into the weekend, and then we see another cool down and additional shower and thunderstorm chances, albeit slight. They're there as we head into this coming Sunday. So that's what we've got going on in the weather. And of course, with the wind, make sure your trash can's secured because it could end up in your neighbor's yard. Tanya says her trash can is not secure. So you want to make sure it's weighted down, or if you've got a good heavy trash can. She says also that her trash can's pretty heavy, but with winds gusting to 35 miles an hour, is it heavy enough?
Well, possibly, and if it hasn't been knocked over by the wind, Chris says that he will go there and kick it over just to prove a point.
Exactly. I did say that. I said, I'll go to your house and just give it a kick and be like, see, look what the wind did, and I'll wait for you to get home. That won't be weird at all. I'm sure your husband and kids won't wonder what a guy in a suit is doing out there by your trash can.
No.
Nobody wonders things like that. There's like, oh yeah, it's the trash man guy.
Someone's mad at Tanya. There's a man in a suit standing that just kicked over her trash can. All right, don't be doing that.
No, I won't really do that. I'm not that crazy. I'm a little bit odd, but I'm not crazy.
All right, well, up next, we've got Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society in studio to tell us about an event that's going to make you and your fur buddy bark in the park.
And later, we have the dramatic story of a bus driver who rescues a boy after a carjacking. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Welcome back. We've got Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society in-house this morning. And this earlier we started talking about bark in the park, and I wanted to continue on with that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of events going on. We talked a little bit about a pack walk that's going to be happening around noon.
Yeah, and it's 11. I totally misspoke. So
okay,
it is
so
at 11.
The event starts at 11.
Yep.
The whole event starts at 11, correct? 11 to 3. So the pack walk is first thing.
Yep, so pack walk's first thing at 11. Then we have our first dog training demonstration at 11:30. That's on the pack structure and socialization. The next event is at 12:30, which is another dog training demonstration for kids. It is junior handlers that we were talking about earlier. And then our last event that's scheduled is the dog show at 2 o'clock. This is always one of our favorites. So we have 4 categories this year. We have Best Trick, we have Best Senior Citizen. So a lot of older dogs don't get a lot of recognition. So any of your old fur babies that are 7 years older, they're eligible for this contest. We have Best Dressed, and we have Best Rescue Story. Now, all rescue stories are fantastic.
That's cool.
It's really just for us to want to hear your amazing stories. So if you've got a story to come out and share how you met your new best friend, we want to hear them. That just will bring a lot of warmth into our souls and what we do.
And that's at 1:30?
2 o'clock. So the dog show's at 2, and then every category has medals. So this is something special that we do where there's first through third, and then we also have Best in Show. If you get into any of the categories, you're automatically enrolled for Best in Show. And this year we have a trophy, which is really cool.
That's cool. Okay, so the whole event is free to attend, but there is an entry fee for the dog show itself?
Right. So Bark in the Park is a free event for the public. We don't charge registration. We have 20 plus vendors. We have a free kids zone with sack races, coloring pages, chalk. The K-State Dog Agility course is free. We have, the only thing that you pay for is there's really 2 events, which is the dog show, which is $3 per category or 2 for $5. And this year we have a brand new activity. We have a painted paw pad zone. Ooh. So we were able to get pet safe paint, and the company was able to provide us with these pads where you could actually just press your dog's pad, and it's not a whole lot of force. We tested this with our dogs, by the way, and they just dip their pad into that, and you will place it onto our paper that we have. So this year's theme, we are going with flowers. So we have had volunteers make beautiful backgrounds of flower stems. Aww. And all you'll do is place your dog's pad on that flower stem, and it's the flower. So that is just $5 per dog.
You get a flower portrait with your puppy's paw print.
Exactly.
So for $5.
And we also have blank ones. So we'll have coloring supplies and paint and markers for the kids. So if you want to make your own backgrounds, you can do that too. The only other thing that will be for sale, and this is honestly our big fundraiser of the event, is our swag bags. So our swag bags, each year they're different. They're always $25, and 100% goes to our organization to help with medications, vaccines, food, emergency surgeries, the whole 9 yards. But in that is a free entry to the Painted Paw Pad Zone. It's a free category entry into the dog show, and then we have a free custom frisbee. We have, we've got pet can lids. We have coupons from Science Diet. Our sponsors have put their own swag bag items into those bags. So, and 100% goes to us. You also get a bag which you can use for shopping throughout the event.
And you can buy those early too, correct?
Yes, they are actually for sale right now for a donation of $25 at our doggy bag resale shop at 514 North Broadway.
And I don't know if you just said that, but I was reading that you get an entry into the dog show.
Yes.
If you buy a swag bag.
Yep, an entry into the dog show and a free entry into the Painted Paw Pad Zone, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, of course, we will have those events sales separate at the event, so if for some reason you don't want the whole swag bag, you can absolutely do those separate. But those are the only paid items for the event. If you're wanting to do the other events, that's absolutely free. Come to the park, come have a great time, meet animal vendors, meet our sponsors that we have, meet Amelia and Wade with Good Boy Professional Dog Training, meet our own animals. We'll be on there as site. There is so much to do. This is a fundraiser for us, but really it's a fundraiser for our animals in our community, to not only see them up close in person, but to get those community points with them so they can meet vets in our area, so they can meet the pet stores in our area, so they can socialize with other dog owners and be like, hey, I've been looking for a pack walk partner. Are you around the area? You want to go on walks in the morning? Or party play dates.
And you guys are going to have dogs for adoption available. And I know we have some pictures ready to show, if we could have those real quick.
Betty, I love Betty. So we've had Betty, please. So this is a personal plea for me to anybody who's watching. We always pick our dogs at the beginning of the year, our longest tenants. We had 3 this year. We had Jack, Cooper, and Betty. Jack and Cooper have been adopted this year. She is our last large goal for 2022, is to find her home. She is a 9-year-old black lab mix. She knows how to sit on command, shake on command. She's been to Root Coffee House. She's been to US2D 50 schools. She's fantastic with kids. She is a loving, sweet dog. Montana, sweet, sweet soul. He is looking for a home that needs a lot of energy though. He loves outside. So
And he's been on the show a couple
he
times.
has,
Yeah.
and he only comes up to my knee. He's a small guy, does fantastic with other dogs. We have had trauma dogs come in, and he has rehabilitated them. Fantastic soul that we would love to finally get out. Just needs a home, though, that is going to be able to give him the exercise he needs, because he is a dog that is very chill for his age, but he loves to be outside, especially Wilderness Park. We'll go on a 2-hour hike easily with him.
Nice. How many dogs will you guys have there for adoption?
Yeah, we'll have 3 to 4, but we also have an employee on standby. So if somebody gets adopted, we already have a backup list, and we will go out to the shelter and bring them to the event.
Nice. That's the way to do it.
Bounce, oh my gosh, she's our lobby dog. So Bounce is a perfect dog. And all of our dogs are perfect, but when you think of an adopter's standpoint, she loves kids. She will let you pick her up like a baby doll, upside down, and fall asleep in your arms. She loves cats. She will lick and sleep with them. She loves cats. She is fantastic with dogs. She especially loves smaller dogs in particular. She is such a kind soul. The only thing is she's a pit mix. So unfortunately, like the city of Pittsburgh that has a BSL, which is a breed-specific legislation, they don't allow them. So we're looking for participants
Outside the city limits.
Right. So Frontenac allows pitties. She just had her birthday last weekend in Frontenac. We were set up at Corner Park, and kids got to come up and say happy birthday, and she had cupcakes for them. But Frontenac, Parsons, Fort Scott, Wichita, Kansas City, any areas that allow pit bulls, that is our area that we're pushing for Bounce. She's a fantastic dog. It's just she's limited, unfortunately, due to those BSLs.
In the rural areas, too.
Yeah, if you're outside of city limits, and we do have those, if you're outside of city limits, you are allowed to have those pitty mixes. And again, a lot of incorrect information about this breed. They're not the strongest breed. They're actually in the top 5, but they're not the number 1. They're great with kids. They are great dogs. And unfortunately, we're blessed to be in a time and age where we're not basing things off of looks these days. And unfortunately, these dogs are having to go through that. And that is so not fair. We should not be judging a dog's behavior or that dog's background on just the way we look. We're better than that. And we need to make sure that we're passing that down to our kids and to those animals that are growing up into those households. Because like Bounce, who is fantastic with kids. She's had school events with her where they come out and visit with her. Like I was saying, I'm gonna tear up. You can get a staff member out there and she will fall asleep in your arms. This is not fair what that dog is going through. So please, if you live outside of city limits, please think about her. I cannot tell you how amazing she is, and it brings tears to my eyes when, even to the point where, they're kid killers or cat killers. That's so untrue, because if you come out and you see this dog, she is literally in our lobby right now with 5 kittens playing with them. We had an adult cat that went through a huge trauma situation come out of his shell yesterday and walk out of the carrier, and he rubbed against her and she gave her a lick on his head.
Aww.
It is such a beautiful moment. So please, if you're thinking of adopting right now, large dogs in particular, whether it's us, another animal shelter, please keep us in mind. And if it's not somebody that you see in an animal shelter, please don't forget about your local animal control facility. Animal control, like here in Pittsburgh, they do adopt out from their facility. So if you don't find somebody with us, it's absolutely okay. We'll help you find other locations where you can find your next kid, where you can find your next fur baby and your new best friend.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in. Do not forget about Bark in the Park from 11 to 3 on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun out at Pittsburgh's Schlanger Park.
Yep, Schlanger Park. We can't wait to see y'all.
All right, we'll be right back.
Well, it's been nearly 2 weeks since Hurricane Ian slammed into Florida's southwestern coast, and the cleanup for many is just beginning. While some schools open for the first time on Monday, others will remain closed for at least another week. Some residents in the Fort Myers area were able to return to their homes for the first time over the weekend since the monster storm hit. Jen Sullivan looks at the ongoing cleanup efforts in Florida.
Mangled metal, broken furniture, and piles of debris lined this street in Fort Myers, Florida, as people clean up the damage from Hurricane Ian.
You go down the road here, there's people that have nothing.
Nearly 2 weeks after the monster storm slammed into Florida's southwestern coast, Tom Delforge finally returned to his home. Much of the furniture on the first floor was ruined, and mud marks line the walls showing how high the water rose.
I just couldn't imagine this.
While the damage is devastating, even worse could be the bill to fix it. FEMA funding will bring some relief, but insurance companies may not cover all the costs.
I thought hurricane insurance covered surge, because that's part of a hurricane. It does not.
Meanwhile, in Sarasota County, some schools finally opened their doors Monday after crews worked around the clock to fix the damage.
We fully realize that this is a time of transition, rebuilding, and recovery.
It could take several more days for other schools to reopen. Many buildings suffering severe water damage and loss of power.
Our team is providing increased emotional supports at our schools.
At least 125 lives lost in the Southeast, with most of them in Florida. And that number could rise as dive crews search cars and homes still submerged in water. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Of course, no situations like that here in the 4 states, but we are getting some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, something we need. And even though there's a bit of a pause, we're watching additional development across Oklahoma, so we're not quite done with the rain yet. Now, some of the other storms we may see later today, there's a very low-end severe threat out there for hail and wind. Now, again, this is a very low-end risk. Most of these storms will be pretty tame, but if they do get a little rambunctious, we're looking at hail and wind as the primary threats with any stronger storms. Otherwise, we're getting rain. It's not a ton of rain, but it's rain nonetheless. Some of us seeing anywhere from half an inch upwards to even an inch or an inch and a half in some places. It won't make a big dent in the drought, but it's better than nothing. We are dry in Joplin right now. Stopped raining, at least for the moment. 64 degrees with a light south breeze, but that's going to change later too. 63 Fredonia, 65 Chanute, 63 Lamar, 64 in Carthage, and 65 in Neosho. MoDOT camera looking live at I-44 east from Rangeline. See, traffic is picking up and the roads are still a bit wet, so we've got a yellow light because we'll still be dealing with few showers and thunderstorms as we go through your morning commute. We hold on to that yellow light later because even though the rain kind of wraps up for a bit of a break this evening, we could still see some wet roads and slick spots out there as well. Going through the rest of the day, temperatures fluctuate, but we will reach a high of 74. The showers and thunderstorms taper off this evening before they return overnight with a cold front that's going to come in from the northwest. Again, fluctuating temperatures, but eventually dropping to a low of 70 degrees. And with the gusty winds, trash can could end up in the neighbor's yard, so make sure it is secure out there. 7-day forecast. Rain comes back tonight, holds on for the first half of Wednesday. Then we warm up and clear out, 77. We continue the warming trend through Saturday before we see additional shower and thunderstorm chances by Sunday. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
It's time to honor today's 4-state hero, Captain Kirk Duncan. The Pittsburgh, Kansas native served in Iraq from 2003 to 2004 as a member of the 3rd Brigade Combat Team. To Captain Kirk Duncan, we thank you, today's 4-state hero.
Authorities in Michigan are on the lookout for a carjacker who stole a vehicle with a toddler inside.
And thanks to the quick action of the school bus drivers in Kelloggsville, the 2-year-old has been returned to his parents.
Michael Martin has the story.
Ma'am, is this your baby?
This story has a happy ending, but the way it begins might make your stomach sink.
What the police is you?
It was Tuesday morning, a Kentwood mother and father waiting outside their running car to put their child on the bus, their 2-year-old son in the back seat. Without warning, a man runs up, gets in, and drives off, their baby along for the terrifying ride. At the same time, Kelloggsville bus driver Dave Skinner is driving down their street.
I was heading down for my morning pickup down 48th Street, glancing down the road, and there were some people waving their arms down the side of the road.
The baby inside.
Skinner calls 911 and puts a call out on his bus radio for other drivers to be on the lookout.
It's a team effort here in the school district.
It turns out another driver, Sue Figueroa, had just seen a young boy sitting alone along the roadway. There he is.
Hi, baby. Come here, baby. I know. Sweet baby. I am the baby.
And soon,
It seemed like forever, but it was, I bet, 10 minutes, if that.
the baby would be reunited with his panic-stricken parents.
Ma'am, is this your baby? He's okay. He's okay.
Wow.
Talk about an emotional story and an emotional morning all around. We've had some good stories and interviews
Yeah, we have.
today.
Yeah. Well, police found the stolen car in Grand Rapids shortly after the incident.
Kentwood police have not found the carjacker yet and are asking for the public's help.
Luckily, those bus drivers had their eye out, had
Yeah, they were definitely on it.
Poor little kid.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's heartbreaking. You know, that poor kid has no idea what's going on. But thankfully, those people came together. The bus drivers did, and they did a great job getting him back home. So, We've got another check of your forecast here. As you can see, we are looking at wet roads in Joplin, even though the rain has stopped. Our commutercast for today, yellow light for your morning commute. So we'll still see some scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning. Yellow light for the afternoon commute, because even though the rain tapers off for a bit, it could still leave some wet roads across the area. Going through today, our temperatures are going to fluctuate quite a bit through the day, but we will reach a high of 74. We'll also have a south breeze that'll be gusting upwards of 35 miles an hour. The rain tapers off this evening before a cold front comes in from the northwest and brings us more shower and thunderstorm chances heading through the overnight. And again, fluctuating temperatures, as you can see, 64 at 11 and then 70 at 2 a.m. before we hit a low of 60 by 6 a.m. We will start to warm up tomorrow. With that gusty wind, keep an eye on your trash can. Could end up in your neighbor's yard at 35 miles an hour, so make sure it's weighted down or placed up against the house, the shed, wherever it needs to be to keep it safe. Future track as we go through the rest of the morning, we'll still see scattered showers and thunderstorms. That's with a system coming out of the southwest, and then this batch of rain is with a cold front coming out of the northwest. And the cold front doesn't get us cold, but it does bring us additional shower and thunderstorm chances for the first half of Wednesday before it scoots on out of here. And then we look at additional shower and thunderstorm chances possible by early Sunday morning, ahead of another system that will cool us down. So let's look at the 7-day real quick. We get up to 77 tomorrow because once we clear out, we will warm up. We'll have decent temperatures warming up through the weekend, and then Sunday, that next system brings our temperatures down, brings us more rain chances, and look at some of these overnight lows. Definitely fall-like around the area. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:36. The Pittsburgh Police Department arrests a man connected to a Monday afternoon homicide at 12:12 p.m. on Monday. Call came into the Pittsburgh Police Department's Communications Center by a reporting party requesting officers to do a wellness check of a female subject residing at 1309 Cedar Crest Drive. The caller received information that the woman living at the address may have been hurt or injured. After arriving at the resident, officers secured the scene but had to forcefully enter the home, where they then found the body of 54-year-old Michelle Lynn Fontenot. Now, information developed early in the investigation that led to the victim's husband, 60-year-old Timothy Fontenot, as the subject in the death of Michelle. He has been charged now with second-degree murder, 4 counts of aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer, and 1 count of felony interference with law enforcement. Middle schoolers from McDonald County School District get a chance to meet best-selling author Dusty Bowling. Bowling books are popular across the nation with middle grade age readers, and she wants to inspire kids to read and showcase how diversity can create exciting stories.
Yes, I think the bigger variety of books we have from the largest variety of people is what's best for the publishing industry and just for readers in general, to just be able to read diverse stories from all different areas and backgrounds and life experiences. I think that's what it's all about, and I hope a lot of kids in here do write.
I love definitely inspired me. Who has seen the Goonies before? So this
Bowling is also known for writing novels set in the desert featuring characters facing some kind of adversity. A local author visited the Joplin High School to discuss lessons from her debut novel. The book is called A 3-Letter Name. It's written by Annie Listenby, a Joplin native. It's a young adult dark fantasy about 2 teens in a fight for survival while also adjusting to personal disabilities. Listenby says she hopes the students can connect with the characters' struggles.
See these characters who have disabilities represented honorably and truly, and see the struggles that people with disabilities go through. I also hope that they would see just what it means to have a community and a family that you're willing to, fight and give everything for.
Monday's visit kicks off high school libraries' Teen Read Week.
All right, quick check of your forecast. We're still looking at some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. So some of us are dry, some of us are getting rain. We'll still get some rain later. We're watching additional development across Oklahoma, as you can see on the loop here. That'll start moving into our area a little later this morning. There is the low-end threat of a strong storm, maybe a low-grade severe storm. If any of them get a little rambunctious, we're looking at hail and wind as the primary threat, but we're not expecting widespread severe weather, and any severe storms we see would be very isolated. We all are getting in on some rain action, though, of course. Not a ton of rain out of this system, but we are getting rain nonetheless. And hey, anywhere from a ½ inch to upwards of an inch. Right now in Joplin, it has stopped raining for the moment. 64 degrees, cloudy skies with a light south breeze. 64 Parsons, 65 Columbus, and 65 Neosho as we start the day. Live look from the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looking east. A yellow light on your commuter cast as we'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms through the morning. And even though the rain tapers off this evening, we're holding on to the yellow light because there may still be some slick spots on the road. Going through the day, temperatures will fluctuate around, but we'll reach a high of 74. Rain tapers off this evening, then a cold front brings us more showers and thunderstorms later tonight with, again, fluctuating temperatures, but a low of 60. And a very quick check of your 7-day. Rain wraps up about halfway through Wednesday. We warm up to 77. We have a warming trend through Saturday, and then Sunday another system brings us a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms and some more fall-like weather. We're back with Consumer Watch right after this. Consumer Watch is coming up after this forecast. So let's take another look at what we've got. Scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder across the area. Some of us dry, some of us receiving rain. More development taking place across Oklahoma, and it will eventually start to roll its way up I-44 into our area through today. We do have a very low-end risk of a strong or low-grade severe storm today. If we see any severe weather, hail and wind are the primary threats, but I do want to emphasize this threat, at least right now, overall is pretty low. Rain count is not going to be very high, unfortunately, from this system, but we are looking anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch of rain for most locations, so not bad. Not enough to help with the drought, but at least it's rain. We're dry in Joplin right now, 64 degrees with cloudy skies. We've got 60-48 Center, 61 Iola, 64 Lamar, Carthage, 65 Neosho, and Monette as we start the day. Another look at the camera at I-44 and Rangeline looking east. You can see traffic picking up. We've got a yellow light for your commuter cast this morning as we are looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms, and a yellow light for this evening because even though the rain wraps up, the rest of your commute is dry, but it could still leave some wet spots on the road. Fluctuating temperatures today and a wind gusting upwards of 35 miles an hour out of the south. We'll eventually reach a high of 74. We dry out this evening, then a cold front starts to move our way and brings us more shower and thunderstorm chances through the evening. Again, fluctuating temperatures, but we will hit a low of 60 degrees. Rain holds on for the first half of tomorrow. Once we clear out, we warm up to 77. Warming trend continues into the weekend, and then by Sunday, we have another system with at least a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms and some more fall-like weather just ahead for us. We're back with Consumer Watch for real right after this.
In Consumer Watch this morning, the U.S. could be on the verge of losing tens of thousands of jobs. Bank of America warns the Federal Reserve's aggressive inflation-reducing policies could also slow the job market. The company says the economy could start losing 175,000 jobs a month throughout much of 2023. Bank of America believes a recession will begin in the first half of next year, with the unemployment rate climbing to 5.5%. That's 1% higher than what the Fed expects, but it's also well below the peak of nearly 15% in April of 2020. Gas prices are on the rise again. A gallon of regular could hit $4 in most of the country this week. It's already there in a number of states. That's the bad news, but there is some good news. Prices might not stay there long. The recent rise, up 12 cents over last week, comes after news of OPEC's decision to cut production. But keep in mind, several West Coast refineries have been offline because of accidents or maintenance. Now that they're up and running, even in the face of the OPEC announcement, the price of gas in western states is already falling. So experts say if you see $4 gas this week, you can expect it to drop back down by next week. That's good news. Amazon plans to invest $972 million in electric vehicles for its European fleet. The company says the investment is part of its goal to produce net zero carbon emissions by 2040. It would increase Amazon's fleet from 3,000 to at least 10,000 electric delivery vans by 2025 and more than 1,500 long-haul electric trucks. Company also plans to deliver more packages via e-cargo bikes and on foot through centrally located delivery hubs, which it's already using in 20 major European cities, including London, Munich, and Paris. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. An 88-year-old Kentucky woman jumped thousands of feet from a plane in memory of her late son.
Jamie Mays has the story.
It's never too late in life to reach new heights.
Life is what you make of it.
And at 88 years old,
Am I going to be sitting on there?
Yes, ma'am.
Bernadette Fife has never soared higher.
I've never tackled anything like this before, and it's interesting.
Now she's taking the 10,000-foot plunge at Skydive Kentucky in Elizabethtown in honor of her son, Bobby Lynch. He died in a car crash in 1979. In May, he would have celebrated 6 decades of life.
We miss him. We think of him every day. He was 16 years old, just prime of getting ready to live life.
Out of Fife's 5 living children, 4 of them have skydived for their 60th birthday. Her son says this is more than a thrill. It's a chance to connect with family.
I mean, with me being in Florida most of the year and stuff like that, we don't have the connection like everybody up here does. But when it's homecoming, it's homecoming.
Although Bobby Lynch isn't there for the reunion, he's still a part of the celebration.
I mean, he's up there now, and we're going to get closer to him when we jump.
Fife says each jump is a reminder to cherish time while you're living.
We don't get out and see things at times and that, and just to get out and enjoy.
And never let age get in the way of your goal.
That's impressive.
Absolutely. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, and this is actually Fife's second skydive.
She jumped for the first time 2 years ago for her son Jim's 60th birthday.
Wow.
I can't do that. We've said before, I can't get in a plane, let alone jump out of one.
Someday, I would like to do this. I would like to do this.
It might be somewhat fun. I mean, I guess for some
What
folks
if you
to
went,
jump out of the
What
plane.
if you did a tandem jump with somebody else to protect you?
No.
You would have to your first time.
I would absolutely not do it. I don't care. It's not happening.
Would you pee your pants?
I would probably die of a heart attack on the way down. I'd die of a heart attack just looking at the side of the plane.
Aww.
That's how bad it is.
You wouldn't go. We'd have to push you.
Probably wouldn't help the situation at all.
We would never do that. Never.
Like I would never kick over your trash can.
You kick over my trash can, you're getting thrown out of a plane.
Okay, then I'll leave your trash can alone if it keeps me safe. Dealing with some rain across the area, 7th and Range line. You can see we are cloudy. It stopped raining for the moment in Joplin, 64 degrees with a light south breeze, 60-48 Center, 65 Chanute, 65 Columbus, and 65 in Neosho. One last check here of the commuter cast. You can see the camera from MoDOT live on Range Line and I-44 looking back east. We've got a yellow light for your morning commute. So we scattered showers and thunderstorms in the 60s. A yellow light for the evening commute because even though the rain will taper off, we're still looking at some possible slick spots out there. Going through the rest of today, we'll have some fluctuating temperatures, but we will reach a high of 74. Rain clears out this evening and then comes back in tonight with a cold front. And again, more fluctuating temperatures before we hit a low of 60 degrees. A quick look at the 7-day. The rain holds on for the first half of Wednesday, and then we start to warm back up, 77. Warming trend through the rest of the week, and then more shower and thunderstorm chances Sunday, and more fall-like weather right after that. We are back with more right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. President Biden and other leaders of the Group of 7 Nations will hold an emergency virtual summit today to discuss Russia's war with Ukraine. In the largest strike since the conflict began, Russia unleashed dozens of missiles on Ukrainian cities on Monday, destroying buildings and knocking out power. Russian President Vladimir Putin says it was retaliation for an attack on a bridge in Crimea over the weekend. And the president of the Los Angeles City Council has stepped down after secretly recorded audio was recently leaked of her making racist remarks back in 2021. Nuri Martinez referred to a councilman's black son by a racial slur during a conversation from last year and mocked other communities. Some are now calling for 2 other city council members who were part of the conversation to also resign. And a former Washington, D.C. police officer who responded to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol has released secretly recorded audio of his own from a meeting with House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. Michael Fanone released the audio in which the mother of a D.C. officer who died of a stroke after the attack asked McCarthy why former President Trump did not call off the mob. Final hearing of the Congressional Committee investigating the attack is scheduled for Thursday.
Dealing with scattered showers and thunderstorms through the first half of our day. They will eventually clear out in the evenings with fluctuating temperatures and a gusty south breeze at 35, 74 for the high. Going into tonight, we're going to drop back down to 60, but a cold front brings in additional shower and thunderstorm chances back down to 60 for an overnight low and a 7-day forecast. To see, we have a warming trend, but it kind of threw me off. Heading into the weekend, additional shower and thunderstorm chances by Sunday and another cooling trend with fall-like temperatures after that. Thanks so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to put Gabe outside, and we'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.